What's going on, everybody? We appreciate y'all for pulling up. This is episode 4, like Rudy Gobert's Defensive Player of the Years. 4 of them things. We are to episode 4 of the WAM Club Podcast. I'm your host, and y'all might hear a little bit of my voice today. Who knows? We'll see. I'm the host, Haaji, aka Elijah, Eli. A bunch of different names. We got a lot of different hats. Got my boy Brandon. Say what up, Brandon.
What up?
And my boy Ant. Say what's up, Ant, to the people.
What's up, people?
Yeah, man. So a lot has happened since the last time that we've been here. I mean, I can start off by saying I was right, like I told y'all. So shout out to me for that. I wanted to get a championship belt. I just couldn't get one in enough time. I was about to bring one and be like,
Let's go get one from Disney.
yeah.
It's a Mickey Mouse Championship.
Wow. Wow.
That's crazy.
But good thing Mickey Mouse don't drink. So without further ado, go ahead and do what y'all got to do.
I only got one.
Yeah. By the way, Ant has one. So if y'all are confused why Brandon has 3, Brandon backed out last episode.
Backed out. Apparently, a beer wasn't acceptable. I was shotgun a beer for the people. No, that don't count. Okay, fine. I guess I'll do a shot.
Yeah, so we need 3 of them from Brandon, and I don't got none because the Celtics won, so we all good.
Be a comrade. Join us.
Look, I did the 2 for 1. That was the comrade.
There's a bullet in there for Bulls Media.
We gonna get into that. Trust me, we gonna get into all of that.
I got plenty to say. It's for the people that fail to see the bright side of our trade this week.
Oh, we gonna get there.
The something roses. We don't no free advertisements.
Facts. Yeah, y'all know what to do. Y'all want y'all finest spirits on here. Look, come holler at us. Do the right thing. You good?
We good. We good.
All right, let's go. We good, man. So let's talk about why Brandon is doing the most right now off the shots. The Celtics have won the NBA championship number 18 for them. Let's just take a quick look back at the win. Brandon, let's start with you. You talked about it in episode 1. You said, hey, the Celtics have the stink. They're frauds. They can't win close games. And it seems like they literally on purpose answered every single call that you made. So is the stink gone for you?
No. Sorry. I'm just gonna say it. I'm gonna say it like this. I don't think that they played their best competition throughout the entire playoffs. I don't think they did. I think I'm not. Again, this isn't the miniature championship. It's hard to do, and I see that it is hard. But they got to skate by and do 3 straight rounds up into the finals. So I'm happy that they did it. Good for them. Proud of you guys. But yeah, show me again. So.
Yo, proud of you guys. It's hilarious. Like it's like a toddler. So like I'm so proud of you. Like good job. Like that's crazy.
So
you did so good, guys.
Go ahead.
Man, look, for me it definitely did. Like I said previously, like they handled business, man. They went out there and they did what they had to do. They made sure they were the ones at the top at the end of this shit. They came out the beginning of the season number 1. Like they had the number 1 record all regular season. Like it wasn't even close. No one was close to them all regular season. And yeah, the teams they faced had some injuries. Unfortunately, that's out of everybody's control. That's something that just happens as part of the game. It sucks that all the injuries was to like literally the best players on those teams. But I mean, hey, at the end of the day, they still went and handled business, and they lost 3 games the entire time. They lost 3 games total. So Jaylen Brown improved dramatically from last year. Like he went from being a guy in the playoffs making a lot of mistakes, turnovers on stuff he would normally get baskets to he was the Finals MVP, rightfully so. Like he handled business from the start of the playoffs to the finish. That man looked like a well-oiled machine. He was out there doing his job. Him, Jason Tatum, they held it down. Because even though Jaylen Brown was leading, like it looked like he was leading the charge there, Jason Tatum was still leading the Celtics in like multiple categories as far as like the stats go. So they did exactly what they were supposed to do as the leaders, as the 1 and 2 of that team. They handled business.
So going back to that point, I'm glad you brought that up, which it isn't one of our topics, but I do want to have this conversation, right? You spoke about Jason Tatum leading the Celtics in pretty much all the important categories, right? Um, do you feel like he should have got Finals MVP? How do y'all feel? Like, of
No.
course, right? I'm trying to figure out the best way to word it, right? Jason Tatum. I'm gonna just say it. I don't think anybody on the Celtics did enough to separate themselves. Be like, look, that's the Finals MVP.
Yeah.
So I'm not mad that Jaylen Brown won, but I just feel like Jason Tatum didn't do enough to not win it. If that makes sense. How do you feel about that? Ant? Like, just start with you since you
I
brought
see
it up.
what you're saying. I feel like, but between the two of them, it was very close. But I think the difference in like specifically the difference if you watched all the games that everybody that watched the games will see, Jaylen Brown was impactful buckets. Like we talk
Yeah,
about like some guys, it's like they just have points, and it's like there are some players that are impactful. Like Kyrie is one of those guys that's impactful. He couldn't be this series, but he's one of those guys. It's like in the fourth quarter, he'll hit some shots, and it's just like, man, we really didn't need them to hit that shot at this time. So it's like Jaylen Brown was having the impact. My man's he had a poster about every game. Every game he dunked on more than one person. So it's like watching it, I see why it's Jaylen Brown. But when you also watching it and when you look at the numbers, I can see how it could have went either way between the two of them. Shit, maybe even KP if he's healthy. The way he came out playing off the bench is like it's crazy. It's a whoever let them put this team together messed up. That's all I'm gonna say. Cause I ain't no weaknesses in that starting five. There ain't no weaknesses.
I mean, I thought it was pretty easily Jaylen Brown's award. I mean, Tatum shot under 30. He shot under 35% for most of the series. Jaylen Brown was the one that was actually making his shots. Um, of the two of them, I know they both saw very similar defensive coverage. And I know Tatum had high assist games, but I think if without Jaylen Brown's steady presence throughout the whole thing, um, they wouldn't have won that. I didn't. They won big when they had Chris
yeah,
Stapps in there, which is why I feel like he had a conversation. He just didn't play enough. And then there was like a short Drew Holiday conversation. Yeah, no, that was never no. I just don't. He
yeah.
played
One
good
good
Him and
defense.
game.
him and
Man.
Derek White had
Yeah,
them games. It was like one game where him and Derek White was the leading scorers. That's why people
yeah.
said that.
It
And
was
if we're
game
just
two.
talking
I'm
about
pretty
who's
sure.
leading
Yeah,
it, like
yeah, yeah.
they were great. Like they were doing their role to the highest level they could, and that's really good. But that's not Finals MVP worthy to me. And I mean, I just don't think they saw the same attention that Brown or Tatum did. And I think of the two of them, Brown to me showed more poise in the big moments than Tatum did. I feel like they relied a lot on Brown. I mean, even ESPN had a moment they were like, "Wait, is Jaylen Brown the best player on the team?" Which is like, no, I don't think he is, but I think he was the best during the series at least.
For sure. For sure.
Okay, that's. Y'all answered it the way it needed to be answered. Um, I do want to say though, I think that it's for me the Celtics getting to the NBA championship, right? It was easy, but they did what they had to do. They didn't let a team linger around 6, 7 games. Like they probably should have swept all the teams they played, to be honest. They should have swept every single one of them, except for
That's reasonable.
Dallas. But winning a game, sweeping a team in the playoffs is not easy. Like I don't care
Yeah.
who they like sweeping a team is not easy. I know we've seen players who made it look like it's easy, but it's not easy especially when like a team is locked in all the way on what you're trying to do, right? Um, and then getting to the Mavericks, I do give them bonus points or kudos for beating the Mavericks. Like that's not like yes, they were better than the Mavericks, yes, but the Mavericks got to they got through the West, and they
They
didn't
beat
have an
some better
easy.
teams to get there.
They beat some really good teams to get to where they got to. Um, so for the Celtics to just pretty much just destroy them, I mean it shows levels obviously that the Celtics just have a better team. Um, I don't know. We'll see next year. As far as like Jason Tatum, like does this help catapult him and get his mindset to where it needs to be as far as like taking over the team and doing taking his tough shots and not taking sidestep fadeaway threes. Like we'll
Yeah,
see. I
you
don't
know
know.
why he shot that bad percentage? Because he kept taking side
Yeah,
step threes and with like 18 on the clock.
bro.
Yeah,
He
it's
better than that, bro. I don't feel like too many people can stand in front of him. He gotta stop settling. He gotta
yeah,
stop making it easy on the defense. Like, bro, make them work, bro. They can't stop you for real.
yeah. Taking sidestep threes.
Yeah,
Wait,
nah, bro. You you
wow,
6'10" with handles, bro. Make them work.
you got
Make these
Gafford on you, bro. Go to the rim.
Okay.
Like you got Luca on you. Go to the rim. Like I'm sorry. But yeah, let's transition. Let's talk about the season as a whole. Um, Obviously the awards got out for who won the season awards, but let's talk about it a little bit. Let's start with you, Brandon, on this. As far as like MVP, Defensive Player of the Year, Rookie of the Year, et cetera, et cetera. Like, who do you have? Who did you have
So
winning?
I mean, I think they got it right with the MVP. I do think Jokic was the best player, like at least like this season. I still think he's the best player in basketball right now, regardless of the loss. I mean that just happens. Best player doesn't always win. And with Defensive Player of the Year, actually, I thought that it was Bam Adebayo's award. I just think that he's been up like top whatever you want to say forever, and he has yet to get his props because he's the reason why the Heat are so good on defense. I mean, I know they're all grinders, but he's
Oh,
6'9" anchor in that defense. He's six
what?
nine anchor in the defense.
What?
And
Hey,
he has for
yo.
the last
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. Yeah, for sure, for sure. Yeah. And who you got as MVP? Actually.
I I get why Jokic won it, but personally, from what I seen,
Hmm.
I feel like that was Shay's award. I feel like it's one of those instances where that man was their offense, like the entire season. Like when it came down to those clutch moments, close moments, fourth quarter, need a basket, anywhere throughout the game, the ball was given to Shea Gilgeous-Alexander, and he executed every single. Like there wasn't too many times where they lost the game when it was in his hands. Like they played amazing. I'm pretty sure they were number one in the West, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like I if we not giving it to somebody on the Celtics who obviously was blowing everybody else out the water, and you look at the rest of the teams, I don't know. I give it to Shea personally, but I see why Jokic had got it as well. But my MVP is Shea.
I mean, I would say
I
that. I mean, everything you said about Shea is the same for Jokic.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. It's just like,
Except being number one in the West that year.
think they were only like a game or something apart. Like it
yeah,
wasn't.
they lost
It
that one
wasn't
game
like.
against the.
Think it was 1, 2, 3. Like I think it was only like a game apart between the three between them, Minnesota, and
The other
Denver.
two teams that
Yeah,
wasn't
Yeah,
double
I
A.
don't think it was. Yeah, those.
OKC guy. They got that shit the last day of the season because the Nuggets lost to the Spurs. It's, Wimbayama had a game had the game of his life against Jokic.
I
Yeah, man.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I'm about to shake it up a little bit. So when the season was over, I had Jalen Brunson as my MVP. Hear me out.
Oof.
I'm gonna tell y'all why. I'm gonna tell you why. Because I am a fan of if you take this player away based on the standings, look at where that team goes. I think out of all the players in the NBA or the top teams in the East and the West, if you take Jalen Brunson off that team, they don't do anything. They're the Pistons. That's the Detroit Pistons.
Yeah,
The rest
they
of those
probably don't even make the
teams,
play in.
no, I think they probably wouldn't even win like 10 games. Like they'd be
Yeah,
terrible.
You got
I,
it, man.
Jalen Brunson, I'm
I
just
ain't say
saying.
it'd be that bad, but no, I see what you saying. Yeah, no, you take him
Yeah.
off that team, they maybe make the play in, if that. But nah,
I
you
don't
take
even think they make the play in.
That's crazy.
yeah,
I don't even
yeah.
think they sniffed the play. Like, and I'm saying it strictly from a standpoint of if you take this guy off of this team, how good would they be?
I mean, you look at the playoffs and tell like without him, they don't win a single game. They
They
for sure
don't.
don't. They for sure don't make it out the first round without him. So yeah,
Yeah, and they got to the 2 seed. So like,
yeah, he's the engine of that team.
yeah, he was the everything. So like, I give points to that. I think there's been this weird narrative going around with the MVP where they give like, oh, who's the best player on the best team here, or who's the best player in the NBA here, like. And I'm not saying that Jokic don't deserve it. That's not what I'm saying. What I am saying is that I think that there were better arguments for other players, even like Shea. Like I'm not even mad at the Shea argument. You want to know why? Because nobody expected him to be there. He he took his game up to another level where it was impactful, where his points were impactful that got them to the number one seed that they weren't supposed to. They was not supposed to be the number one seed. Like I don't care what nobody say.
Nobody had them top 5 in the West.
Nobody. They had them get in the playoffs, but the one seed, nah, I don't know about that.
Man, but Brunson though.
I'm just look. I'm saying that's my argument. Like same thing to the similar effect of why D Rose won the MVP that year. If you take
That's
D Rose off that team is horrible.
yeah.
I hear you on that.
That's
I think Brunson went up another level in the playoffs for sure.
yeah.
Yeah.
But
Especially when they
he's
had
been playing like that for the last month. That's what
yeah. Without OG and Randall in the lineup, I mean, he had to do more. Which is why I'm actually
Missing
excited for the
somebody
next
else too.
season.
They missed somebody. Everybody keep forgetting they was missing too. I don't want to say his last name wrong. I think it's like Bobanovich or it's one of them. They got him too, and he ain't.
Bogdanovich,
Yeah,
yeah.
bro.
Yeah, he
they
was on that
benched his
team.
ass. They benched
No,
his
he
ass. That's
hurt.
what
He was
happened.
hurt. He was hurt. I'll tell you, like, bro, they was missing a lot of people, and
Yeah.
that team gonna be all right next year.
Man. Let's move on. What about and let's start with you, defensive player of the year. Obviously, we know who won it. I'm not gonna keep saying that loser's name on this pod. But yeah, who do you think should have won defensive player of the year?
The real Frenchman, Wemby. Like for sure, it wasn't even like because the part that's crazy to me, right, is like I went and it's like I can kind of see the Rudy like why he got picked. The Timberwolves weren't they like the number 1 defense in the league?
Yeah.
So it's like I can kind of see why he's the anchor there. He's the quote unquote anchor for the team. So it's like I get it, but looking at the individual numbers because this is a individual accolade, him and Anthony Davis had the same numbers, rebounding and blocks. Both of them didn't average a steal. Wemby averaged more blocks and was the only big to average a steal. So I just I don't even understand like why it was even. If you watch the games, there's people running away from Wemby. People dunk on Rudy Gobert. We've seen it. I'm pretty sure there's a highlight tape somewhere with a bunch of Rudy Gobert posters on it. We watch it happen all the time. I watch people run from Victor Wembanyama. Like I don't understand why this is even a discussion that he wasn't defensive player of the year. and he was clearly the best individual defensive player this year.
Go ahead, Brandon.
I agree with you. I wanted to give it to Bam because I feel like he needs to win it once before Wemby wins for the next 20 years. So like I I
It's
agree
a
with you
pity
there. I mean,
award. It's a pity award.
well, I
Bef-
thought he should have got it last time. Actually, like I feel like they gave it to Jaren Jackson last year when I thought it was Bam's award to win. They kind of they do this a lot to him. I still feel like he's the only big that can guard 1 through 5. I mean, Wimby can probably do it, but and I feel like he's really effective at it. Almost to the point where the Heat are just always one of the best 3 defensive teams in the league every year.
Mhm.
I feel like there's some type of recognition that needs to be had there on that end. And the the Heat did win a game against the Celtics in the playoffs this year, and they did do that shit with defense. So I'm just saying.
Man, they did that. They did. They are one of the teams to get a dub.
Yeah, I also had Wemby for the same reasons that Ant said. Like when somebody's on a fast break, wide open layup and fast break, and turns and looks back to see where the man at, like that, or giving up wide open a 3-on-1 transition, and was like, nah, we not shooting this. Like that matters. That 100% matters. And like, fact check me, look it up. Like, I don't care. When Wemby was on the floor, the Spurs were the best defensive team. So if that doesn't say defensive player of the year, I don't know what does. That at
I
least
don't. I don't typically like to go by like stocks with that stuff, but with stocks is like the stats,
yeah,
like steals, blocks, and all that stuff. I
yeah.
typically don't like to always do that because some players just get a lot of counting stats. Like some people will average, like Harden averaged 2 steals a game for a long time, but does that make him a good defender? No. So it's like I would like to look deeper into the numbers on that. But Wimby, you're right. Wimby, there was like the difference between I think it was first or fourth, one of those two, and the number 28th when he was off the floor, which is fucking insane. But that's why that's why I said give it to somebody else before he wins it for the next 20 years. Like we've never seen a player like this defensively either. Like they'll put him on the other side of like he'll guard the worst whoever on the other side of the floor just so he can roam, and he could be at the rim in like a half step, and he could also be back out in a half step, and he could also be on your guard and double him and then take it from him and go to the other side of the floor and dunk it. That's not fair. It's like playing against little kids.
That's true. That's true. So are we all in agreement that he definitely should have won Rookie of the Year, right?
All right,
Like I
for
don't.
sure.
Okay, all right. We
It
can.
was
I think we can skip
For sure.
past that. I don't think
For
there's
sure.
much to talk about. What about most improved?
It should have gone to Kobe White.
Go-
No, as a Bulls fan, it should have gone to Kobe White. He went from 9 points to 19 points.
Oh, now you're a Bulls fan. Go
I've
ahead.
always been a Bulls fan. I'm always a Bulls fan, but they gave it to Maxey. I just think Maxey did more to saying with higher usage. I felt like it was Kobe White's award because he went up 10 points a game. He also improved his shooting and led the team going into the play-in. Which and that's with like real vets on his team. So I thought it was his award. I really thought they gave it to Tyrese Maxey just to kind of get a 6 or something because when he was just playing and Embiid was out, they were not good. They weren't good. They improved their position when Embiid came back for those last 10 games and they won all those games. But before that, they were losing almost every game. I'm sorry, but where did he improve at what? He just had higher usage. Not even trying to hate, but straight up, like it was a Kobe's award to win because he did exactly what previous award winners have won, where they've upped every one of their stats and improved their efficiency while doing it. I don't think Tyrese Maxey did any of that.
Go ahead.
For most improved, I don't know, I had trouble with that one too because it was like I feel like they just gave it to Maxey because he made the All-Star team. Like that's like a big reason why they gave it to him. But I'm kind of in agreement with Brandon. Like not even as a Bulls fan, but like Kobe White literally went from he might not even be in that rotation. Like they had AO, he was playing well too. He's their starting guy, and he's winning them games. He's making it happen. Like he's not just out on the floor for a large amount of time. Like he's leading these games in scoring, leading these games in assists. He's making plays late in the fourth. Like Kobe White literally went from a almost end of the bench guy to a starter, and
I wanted him
there
traded.
has to be more there than that's what I'm saying. Like a lot of people did. It was like there has to be some recognition there for him in that degree, because I mean Tyrese Maxey really just he kind of made the All-Star team because Joel Embiid got hurt. Like I don't even really feel like he was one of the top guards in the East for real, for real. Like there's a lot of other guards better than him in the East, and I don't know. Kobe White seemed like a much better winner than him as well, as far as like being the lead guy for his team. So I'm with Brandon on that one. I got Kobe White.
I still trade Kobe White for Tyrese Maxey straight up, like in a heartbeat. But I 100% thought that this was his award to win. And they gave it to
What?
Maxey for
Yo.
Sixers exceptionalism. No, it's good. Listen, the Bulls
Yo.
have to the Bulls have to pay for the 90s. That's all it is. That's why we have to consistently lose. Eventually we'll get past it.
We gotta pay for the 90s.
So I was actually torn between Tyrese Maxey and Kobe White. Like but y'all, I think y'all have convinced me. But I do have a side question. It's a little off topic, but not quite. What happened with Kobe White? Because I remember when Kobe White a couple years back when he first was, I don't know if he got drafted to the Bulls, where they were like, wait, this dude has potential, like he's nice, and then like just stop hearing about him. So like, what happened? Did he fall out the rotation? Was he not like what happened to like? I felt like where Kobe White is right now, he should have probably been like last year or 2 years ago.
I mean, we have better players at his position. Even still. So it's just hard for him to get on the floor because he doesn't fit with a lot of our best players. Like I don't want Kobe White on the floor if DeRozan, Levine, and Vucevic are out there. That's just a defensive liability. Um, so I'd rather have Lonzo out there. And then I mean, he's a shooting guard. He's very clearly a shooting guard, very clearly a combo guard. And they've been wanting him to be a point guard, and I just don't think that's his game. That's just why I'm happy about the trade, which we could talk about later. But I think that moving him, because even this year, like towards the end of the games, he was looking beat just because he's not a lead guard. He should be catching it and then making his move. He shouldn't be the one to initiate the offense every time down because that's just not his game. So I think that they were trying to like they didn't. I would say that his usage rate really wasn't there previously. I think that we have better players at other positions and at his position, and it's like it's been really hard to find minutes for him, which is why I wanted him traded. I was like, maybe he'll get the opportunity somewhere else because on the Bulls, I don't know when he would. Because then we drafted Io, and he was looking good because of his defense. And Kobe White wasn't a defender. He still isn't really much of a defender, but he wasn't. His offense wasn't good enough to justify playing him over Io, over Lonzo, over Levine, any of that. When again we got better players there, we might as well play them. They're bigger, taller, faster. He's worked on his skill a lot more in the past 2 seasons because I could see it a little bit towards the end of the season last season, where he would get a lot more run playing with like Dylan Terry and like other passers and stuff like that, where he doesn't have to do everything. Whereas bringing the ball up, initiating pick and roll, and then trying to set up people, he doesn't have to do anything. I just don't think that's the best version we're going to see of him. It's nice that they're giving him his reps there, but he's not a league guard in my eyes. I don't even think he sees himself as that. Yeah, that's all I can say. I mean, I know he was good coming out of college. I don't know much about his college career, but I was excited for him coming to the team because we did need a guard back then, and then we went and got Lonzo like the next season after. So it's it's just bad luck.
Ain't you got anything to add to that?
No, I ain't got nothing to add to it.
Okay. What about 6 men of the year? Back on topic.
I feel like, man, look, that was Bobby Award until the front office sold us. I'm gonna say it straight up. Like Bobby Portis was like, don't get me wrong, Nasri is like great. He's an amazing player and he did his thing. He had a great season. Like that's his award. He definitely deserved it because what happened. But I feel like the way the Bucks were playing at first, there was a lot more possessions per game, a lot faster offense. The way they were playing at first, Bobby Portis was flourishing. Like as we seen, he was able to find a way to win a playoff game. Him and Chris Middleton against the Indiana Pacers. It's like Bobby Portis is really good. He was amazing as the sixth man off the bench for the Bucks this year. But it was like once the coaching change happened, it slowed down the pace of the game for us. A lot less possessions, rotations changed, different way we plan. It definitely showed in his production, which it still didn't slow him down much, but it definitely slowed him down. Like he wasn't scoring as much as he was previously. Cause like at first when we was like number two, get like close neck and neck with the Celtics, Bobby Portis was giving us like 20, almost 22 a game off the bench. Like he was doing his thing.
I feel like they gave it to Reed because he started for Towns those last couple games, but I thought it was 6 man of the year. Like, because to me, I thought it was Malik Monk's award. He actually got. He was
He
even in the
start.
conversation. No, he played off the bench for them, and
Oh
I think
wow.
he even had some conversation for most improved player because he went from like averaging like 1 or 2 assists a game to averaging like 5.5, and he upped his scoring and his efficiency all in one, like all at once. And that's like he kind of helped kept them afloat. I know he got hurt, but I don't even think it. I mean, shit. I mean, shoot. I would have gone with Portis or even Bogdanovich off Atlanta over Reed. I feel like Reed got the award because he started in place of Towns and they kept winning. But I feel like a lot of that has to do with Anthony Edwards' ascension and him able to fit around what Anthony Edwards is doing and take advantage of that situation. I just don't think he's the same player off the bench for him. I think he's either going to start or he has a starter or he's not the same player. I'm just I like, and this is someone that loves Nas Reed. I've been in on him since before he got to LSU. Like I've been a fan of his forever. I just don't think he deserved it this year.
I had Nas Reed just straight up. I feel like Nas Reed did enough throughout the season. You're right. He did fill in for Karl Anthony Towns. And like I know it's 6 man of the year and he started, but like if Karl Anthony Towns was there, he wouldn't have been started. So I gave him bonus points for that. And I just feel like Nas Reed and I say this from somebody who when they gave Nas Reed all that money, or they didn't give him a lot of money, but they gave him money. I'm like, why did they give Nas Reed this money when they have Cat? And then now just watching how the season played out, like I'm like, oh, okay, I understand why they gave him that money. And then, but that didn't. Of course, you can't factor that into winning a regular season award. But then when you see in the playoffs, you're like, oh, I really see why they gave him that money now because he can hoop. So yeah, I think that was a good little. I think that was a good. I think they made the right call, but I'm not mad at the Malik Monk. Um, Bobby Portis was in third place, so he did get votes. Um, just majority of the votes were split between Malik Monk and Nas Reed. So look, I ain't
And
mad at it.
the link producer Don just showed us that Nas Reed run that by 2 more votes. So
Yeah,
sorry,
it was
yeah, he
close.
won because of 2 votes.
Yeah, it was
But
Mhm.
do you
close.
guys do you guys think that they potentially move Cat to give Nas Reed more run, like maybe consolidate or maybe get
No.
like role players for him,
Nah,
or you keep
because
him where he's at?
there's nobody to replace. Like that'd be the thing about moving players. It's like in theory that would work, but are you realistically replacing like Cat with? Because it's like honestly, that's just one of those situations where they just need Cat to play better. Because he's an amazing basketball player. He's a very gifted skill set. Like to be a 7 footer that can put the ball on the floor and hit threes. Like he can create shots and stuff like that. He's very gifted. So it's like, I mean, the only other people you taking for him, team's not giving up. So it's just like one of those
Yeah.
sometimes you just gotta lock in and just like you gonna have to get real angry with a player. Like, hey man, we need you to play better. Like, ain't no other way around this. We need you to get better. And Karl-Anthony Towns is definitely gonna have to improve on the defensive side of the ball if like Minnesota's gonna take that leap, because they one of them teams. I think them and OKC in the same spot where they in the cusp of being contenders. It's just all about the development of the team they have right now, and that team, Cat got to get better on defense. It can't like they can't be put in situations where we have to put Naz Reid on the floor for you to get defensive stops. Like, you have to be able to stop without fouling, because that was his main
That's his
problem this year.
problem.
Is he
Fouls.
he fouls way. He got to figure out how to play defense without fouling. That's the only thing holding him back.
I don't think that's gonna happen.
Hey, he been in the league a minute, so I can't say I don't see why you don't think it won't happen. He been in the league for a while and ain't figured it out.
Yep. So let's take a break and let's take a break of talking about the awards really quick, right? Let's pivot. Because I just feel like Brandon, I'm not gonna lie, I feel like you got a lot to say. I feel like you got a lot to say about this topic. So we're gonna pivot just a little bit. And we'll start with this. So the Bulls made a trade that clearly has Chicago Bulls fans, media, everything divisive. Alex Caruso was traded straight up for Josh Giddey. No first round pick, no other players involved. It's a straight up trade. Brandon, I'm gonna start with you. How do you feel? Like, look, you take the reins, you speak. Go ahead, go.
Me personally, I like the trade just because we got off of Caruso and got a young player who's good for it. But a bunch of these short-sighted idiots on the media and in the fandom don't quite understand that our players are not as good as they think they are. So of course we didn't get a first-round pick for him. Of course we didn't get multiple. It's Alex Caruso. What are we doing here? Like, I get it. He's a good player. I get it. He's a great defender. But this is not someone you're gonna get a bunch of future capital for in a trade. We just got a 21-year-old stud. I feel like if he was in this draft, even at his age right now at 21, would go in the top 5, if not number 1. So and even such, this draft sucks, and we all know it. Every single day we get a notification that someone else is climbing the draft boards. Every single day we think there's another number 1. I'm sorry, but if the number 1 is Reed Shepherd, I'm sorry. I'll take Giddey over him, straight up. Like, no BS. I don't think it's honestly ridiculous. And all these people are like, how do we not get multiple? How do we not get any of that capital from OKC? It's because OKC is not stupid. Caruso's 30 years old. He gets hurt all the time because he plays hard. And in his contract is up after this season. You're gonna have to pay him moving out. So it's probably gonna be a 4-year contract. So why would they give up any draft capital for that, just to do it? No. Presti didn't get where he was with that by making trades like that. He's going to consolidate later. Next year's draft's a lot better. He'll combine stuff then and then turn it off for more. But what they were able to do is get off a player that didn't quite fit their system for one that does. And they're allowed to do stuff like that. But my old problem is to act like Giddey is just this horrible player when he's not. He's not. What do you mean? The guy's gotten how many? He got the youngest triple-double ever, man. Average 17, 8, and 8. And we're going to act like he sucks? Give me a fucking break. Like, let's be fucking for real with it. He's a 6'8" point guard, a position of need. Because like I said, Kobe White's not a 1. Lonzo's hurt. Ayo's not a point guard. Who's playing point guard? Who's initiating the offense? Dellin Terry? No. So we go and get a point guard, a good one, a young one who's on his rookie contract. We can re-sign next season. It's this short-sightedness of thinking that all our players are so good, we should be getting all this stuff. It's the same thing that's going to happen with LaVine. I'm telling Bulls fans right now, if you think we're getting real capital for LaVine, be prepared to be disappointed. It ain't happening. We would have traded him for something if we had it. We're not going to get anything for him. We're trying to tank. If we get outside of the top 10 this season, we don't get our pick. We need to tank. So let's stop acting like we have all this stuff to retool and go for more. We don't got it. Caruso, they maximized their volume on it. They got this idea in their head because they went to the Warriors and thought, oh yeah, we get Kuminga, Moody, and first round picks for him. The Warriors said no. So, but Bulls fans thought that was the baseline of every trade moving forward. If they say no, who was going to do it? Let's be real. Let's be real. Do you think we were going to get Kuminga or what? We could have got just Moses Moody, and that would have been the trade. And you got that. That's what I'm saying. Like, we got the best player that we could have at the time. I don't give a fuck about any other stuff around it. We got the best player we could for an expiring contract on a 30-year-old who's often injured. That's a good trade to me. That's a great trade to me. We got all these people on Twitter, all these big name Bulls motherfuckers saying, oh, why did we not do this, that? Let's look at what we got. The man might be an all-star. He might get an all-star game in him. And I think that it even isn't even unreasonable to say. But Caruso wasn't that. Caruso wasn't that. He was the heart and soul of the team for 3 years. I recognize that. I love Alex Caruso as a player. He was a great Bull. But to act like he's like a premier player that's going to attract all this stuff, and no, he is not that, and we got to stop acting like it. You guys need to get over yourself. You're not smarter than the Bulls front office. You're not smarter than any of these people by trying to be like, oh, we could have got all these picks. In this draft, no, this draft sucks. We're not going for next year because no one's giving up picks in it because it's a good draft. So we got the best thing that we could for what we were trying to get out. Let's just look at it like that and stop being stupid. Thank you.
Go
ahead, bro. You got
I feel like I need a cigarette after that shit.
Look, I agree. I think that whether you believe that the Bulls still trying to win right now, or whether you believe they're going into rebuild, where's Josh Giddey a negative? He doesn't really have many weaknesses in the game if you actually let him play guard. Like, he's fine. Like, at the 1 or the 2, he's fine. He can guard those positions very well. He's not as great of a defender as Alex Caruso, no. But you get another floor setter to help, because the guy you have running point for you right now, not the best floor setter. And it's like there's no negatives there. It's like for Caruso, like you said, Caruso only played with like 40, 45, 50 games last season. Like, he's missing a lot of the games. He missed almost half the season being injured, and it's because of how hard he plays. So you gotta think, like, that's a good move, because Josh Giddey can fit with a lot of different styles of basketball. Like, you can put Josh Giddey on any team. I don't really think he would play bad. I don't think there's a team in the NBA where Josh Giddey goes and plays bad. Like, he's a very good player. It was a very good trade. I don't see the problem either. Like, I'm really trying to figure out, like, what the issue was when the trade went down. I was like, oh, that's smooth. And they did it without giving up pick. Oh man, that's lucky. Like, that means you have more to move around. And then also, to Brandon's point, I think people forget that there are a lot of teams getting in position for Cooper Flag. Because I think he's one of those guys that's coming in, and he is as good as people say he is. If anybody watch him play, if anybody's ever got a chance to see Cooper Flag play, the IQ is there, the skill set is there, the jump shot is there, the defense is there. People are getting in position for that, because that's another guy that you can take and put him on any team, and I'm pretty sure he'll be fine. So I don't know. Bulls gotta. I don't know. I think the problem is nobody knows what the Bulls are trying to do. That's why the Bulls media is in such disarray, because nobody knows if they rebuild it. They don't know if they still finna give it another go. They still waiting to see what's happening with Lonzo, which I think the last thing I seen in the video, Lonzo dunking. So hey, look like Mans might be back. Like, he gearing up, like he might be able to come back. And I think Lonzo's IQ, he's gonna come back very similar to the player he was leaving, if not the exact same.
I just think that Bulls fans have this exceptionalism about them because they believe we're one of the elite teams, and we just haven't been that in a long time. And we need to take things that, like, right now we're closer to the Wizards than we are to anyone else. And we have to be real
Well,
with ourselves there.
they got that glimpse though. You know, like when DeRozan first got over there and they was doing real good. They was like top team in the East. You know, fans got that glimpse of, oh, we might be back on top. And hey, that shit just
well, it's like our owner is
injury
very happy
soured that
just
all
sitting.
up.
Our owner is so happy sitting at 45, like 35 to 45 wins, making a play in and potentially just first round because of the money it brings in. So they think, okay, we're just gonna continue to perpetually be mid forever. I'm sorry, but this doesn't seem like a move to me to stay mid. It seems like there's finally some pushback on, hey, maybe let's not losing in the play-in or just make the play-in losing the first round every season. Let's like actually try to keep our pick this year and potentially get a good player. This draft coming up has a lot of good players outside of even Cooper Flag. Like I know he's clearly number one and the draft starts after him, but like let's like, there's still players that we could go for this year. So let's like not lose that pick for nothing. Even such, hey, what if the ball falls the right way and we get number one? What happens then? Huh? All bets are off and then we're back up. Like, let's go for it. I'm here for the tank. You know what I'm saying? We just got a new tank commander. All right. So I'm happy for it. Let's do it.
Yeah, I mean, y'all both make some really great points, right? Because the reality is, in sports, it's far to the majority of the fan base, not all. Like you're gonna have your diehards no matter what. Like, which obviously you sound like, Brandon. You sound like a diehard. Who are gonna be there no matter what if the teams are mid. The problem is that you don't want to be in the middle. And almost like and there's a lot of things you want to be in the middle on. Sports is not one of those things where you're either you want to be good enough to actually compete or you want to be bad enough to get somebody on your team that can help you compete. And like the problem with the Bulls is that like they've been like from the outside looking in, because I'm not a Bulls fan, like they've been there in the middle for too long, where even like post D Rose, right, where they kept basically the whole team together except for D Rose, and they were just good enough. They were really good defensively to where they were like
barely making the playoffs.
They were making the playoffs and they were fighting, they were clawing, they were scratching, and then like but they weren't getting there. And then
Tom Thibodeau.
Yeah, and then you transition after they blow that team up. They send Jimmy Butler away. They blow the team up, retool. They were bad for a while, and then you bring in like now. Do I believe that they had something good with the DeRozan, Lonzo, Zach LaVine core? Because there was a time where that like the three of them playing together looked really really good. But I think the second that Lonzo showed like signs of like that he was not going to be able to play for I think it was after year 2 of Lonzo being hurt, I think they should have blew the team up. Like that's just how I feel about it. I think they sat on it too long. You're right. But yeah, I'm glad they did it.
This all starts and stops.
My
with them
bad. Oh
Sat
my
on it
yo.
too.
Oh yo.
Yikes.
Oh man. That was wild.
Crazy.
That was egregious. Yo, let's pivot. Let's pivot, bro. Go ahead.
I feel like they should have traded LaVine a long time ago. And like I know I said earlier in the pod that LaVine's my least favorite player in the league, and that just it continues because this man has been the face of the Bulls now for 6 years or however long he's been here, and we have done nothing, and he has done nothing, and I don't even think he's made an All-Star team. And yeah, so we, he's the face. Like we talk about Jordan Poole. We talk about all these players that are good stats, bad team. LaVine is the very definition of that. I never ever once believed that he was going to be the one to take us over. And I thought there was a chance we could have traded him for Ben Simmons way back in the day. And this is even after Lonzo got hurt. We probably could have still traded him to the Nets for Simmons. I thought like a pivot like that would have been fine. Like we needed ball handlers, we needed point guards, we needed playmakers, and we didn't do anything with it. It's like they're too afraid to like so this trade this past week was the first trade in 3 years that we've made a player for player trade, right? And before that, this is where we traded Lowry Marketing, where we traded Derrick Jones Jr. off the team and all that. Who for one was All NBA third team last season, the other one went to the finals as a starter this year. But hey, that's just Bulls luck. We aren't.
Wendell Carter also made the playoffs.
We also so did Franz Wagner, who would have been our pick. But hey, Vucevic as well. Another man that needs to be off my team as well. There's another player that needs to be off my team. Levine and Vooch, they can go. DeRozan, honestly, I don't care if he stays or goes. It doesn't matter to me. We have 2 losers in our starting lineup, and I need them gone.
Yo, loser is crazy. But I think this is a great. Go ahead. Close
I understand. I completely understand. Because my team going through it right now too. I completely understand.
Yeah, yours is unfortunately the coach, but
Lord Jesus.
Another time. Hey, let's pivot. Let's pivot to the West. A conversation about this West team that I have investment in, at least to some degree, right? JJ Redick was recently hired as the Lakers head coach. Let me start. Let me start, right? Give me a second. I find it incredibly odd. I don't know what the fuck the Lakers are doing. I don't even know any other way to say it. I've had this conversation before. The reality is the Lakers run the team like it's a mom and pop shop, like it's your local, like a like a burger joint. Like I don't know what they doing over there. Right. So here's the thing. I'm gonna get to the JJ Redick thing. Let's just push that aside for a second, for just a second. Let's go all the way back to Frank Vogel. Let's go back that far. Let's start there. Frank Vogel won the NBA championship. They get to the first round. Everybody was hurt after, and then he gets fired, right? They bring in they fired him after Westbrook, so it was 2 years after, right? Because he did one year.
Yeah.
Right.
He was there for 2 seasons, so this is 2 seasons ago now.
Right. So they fired Frank Vogel in the whole, and what if y'all remember, what was the one thing that Darvin Ham, milk dud head ass, said that he was gonna pride himself on doing? What was his thing?
I want to say, I believe it was playing defense, wasn't it?
Ding, ding, ding. What does Frank Vogel do?
Play very good defense.
Thank you. So why would you bring him in? What was he there for then? What?
Maybe they liked him a little better, man. You know, he was cool. He always walked around with his hands in his pockets. You know, he seemed like a cool coach.
I mean, I remember the players in the team was blaming Vogel because they weren't good.
Westbrook was blaming Vogel. He shouldn't have been there anyway, which originally I thought it was going to be a good trade. I thought it was going to turn out fine. It didn't. And I should have seen that it wasn't, but whatever, right? But Frank Vogel coaches defense. Darvin Ham, the first thing he comes in and says, oh yeah, I'm going to get them to be defense. How can you get them to be a better defensive team when 2 years back to back, the Lakers were the number 1 defensive team in basketball. So in 2020 and in 2021, they were the number 1. Not 10, not 15. Like, you know, if they were like 10, I could understand, but they were 1. And then they were the number 1 seed before LeBron and AD got hurt, before they lost in the first round to the Suns, who ended up going to the NBA Finals. Are you serious? Right? So now you bring in Darvin Ham. Bro, I'm not gonna lie, I feel bad for you. I feel bad for you because Darvin Ham is about to go over there and do a bunch of nothing along with Doc Rivers
and Glenn Rivers.
Yo, I feel terrible for you, and I'm not gonna lie.
A cocktail.
Yo, because Darvin Ham, he didn't do anything but bring his guys over there and just Like, bro, go look it up. Go Google and just go look it up. How cool Darvin Ham is with Dennis Schroeder and Taurean Prince. Like, go look it up. Like he let Dennis Schroeder, he let Darvin Ham's son use his Lambo for prom.
Oh wow.
Exactly. So the fix was
They
in. I
family
like Dennis Schroeder on the Lakers. I really did. But Taurean Prince, like, I don't know what this bromance that Darvin Ham and Taurean Prince got, but Taurean Prince did absolutely nothing when he was on the Lakers. He was a
starting
negative.
Taurean Prince was crazy.
Starting him was crazy when you got Rui Hachimura. Starting him was crazy. So I'm actually glad he couldn't have been going fast enough. Now, let's talk about JJ Redick for just a little bit here, right? So remember a month ago, right before the playoffs started, they said that JJ Redick was the top pick for the Lakers for the head coaching job, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Now y'all pull it in out of nowhere. Out of nowhere, they go Dan Hurley.
Wow.
He was not going to the Lakers. That was never gonna happen. That shit was all cap. That shit was all cap. Then, right, I get excited because I'm like, oh, he's a really good coach. I believe him. He could make some shit happen. Right? Cool. But then what did they say? They were gonna offer him a record-breaking deal to coach for the Lakers. Then it comes out that it was 6 years, $70 million.
It's record breaking for them. They're not paying anyone that much.
What you supposed to like? What? Like, come on, bro. Like, you have to remember, right? This is the Lakers. This is one of the top teams in all of sports. If you hand the logo of the Lakers to in the colors to 90% of the people in the world, most of them will be like, oh, that's the Lakers. So, and they're in turmoil. So you're trying to figure out how to transition past LeBron because LeBron's older. So you got to figure out that it's not a good job. I'm just be honest, it's not a good job. It's not a good job. So you gonna offer him how much money did Monty Williams get? 65?
Yeah.
65 for like 4, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you gave him a little bit more money for 2 more years.
Lot more time.
But he got a chance to go back and renegotiate his deal at UConn and get this. He could have got that money from UConn, which he ended up doing.
And has a much better chance of winning the championship.
And he has a chance to three-peat.
And he doesn't have to get criticized 24/7 on ESPN if the Lakers aren't good.
Exactly. So now, pivoting back to JJ Redick as the head coach, I like it. I don't love it. I like it. But there is Twitter, y'all are some weirdos. Y'all saying that JJ Redick has no credentials to coach in the NBA is crazy to me. Like, I've seen posts where people are saying like he has no credentials. All he did was just do a podcast with LeBron. The man played 15 years in the NBA. If there's somebody who is credible enough to coach, he played at Duke, which means he's smart. He's a high IQ person. He's able to coach. Y'all go ahead, man. I can't with stupid people.
I mean,
go ahead, Brandon.
Even on top of that, if you don't remember back in 2013, Jason Kidd was coaching the Nets right after he retired after playing up the Knicks. So this isn't the first time that this happened. I mean, Steve Nash was coaching in 2019. He retired in 2014. Like, it's like, why are we acting like this is the first time that a former player has gotten a job after that's why I agree with you there. I mean, you saw me on Twitter talking crazy. I'm like, what are y'all like? I'm not even a big Lakers guy. Like, I just think people are being mad disrespectful and pretty disingenuous by saying stuff like that. It's not fair.
Yeah.
To even bring that up because they're like, oh, look at this player, all these accomplishments. But I was like, I mean, JJ's a pretty accomplished player within of himself. The man's been on every relevant. He's been in the conversation on relevant teams for a good 7 years of his career. Like, let's not act like he wasn't up there playing in high IQ, highly stressful, high important games, like all the way back since college. Like the man's been there. So let's not even act, like let's give him a chance at least.
Yeah, I think I think people are getting. I think it's just one of those things. It's because it's the Lakers that, like, because of the situation, like you said, it's not a good job. It's not, and it's really. I didn't say it's not. Yeah, no, it's not. It's not a good job. It's very difficult because you're coming in and can you win another one with LeBron? How much longer is he gonna be here? Like you said, what's the transition post him? What's we doing with Anthony Davis? Are we looking to get somebody to put with him? So it's like there's a lot of moving parts to this job on top of the fact of I think the most important thing that people need to wait on before making the decision about how they think JJ Redick is going to do as a coach is let's see who he puts with the rest of his coaching staff. Because as we've seen before, like a lot of first year coaches, a lot of guys that transition from playing into coaching, it's about the rest of their staff. If they can get the right assistant coaches, guys that help them, and one of the things is funny because I learned this from listening to Gilbert Arenas' them podcast. It's a lot more that goes into coaching than just like the stuff on the floor. It's like as far as like when they practice, what drills they do in practice. Can guys come talk to this assistant coach about this person? Can they talk to the head coach about it's like all that stuff that goes into it. And I think with JJ Redick being a player as of recently as he's been, he has a better understanding of how to navigate some of that locker room, some of that practice, that type of stuff off the court that could help you get a lot more out of a lot of guys. Because I'm pretty sure there are guys in the NBA that they play to how they feel in their situation. Like there are guys that they feel like this coach understands them, or they, I can come talk to people over here. Like there's not like, I'm not getting stonewalled. If I feel like I have a problem with something, they probably play better in those situations. And I feel like JJ Redick is going to be able to do well in that aspect of coaching, is helping make sure he understands like what's going on with his players. But like I think people just need to really wait to see what the rest of his coaching staff is going to look like.
Yeah, I mean, I just think people need to just shut up. I mean, like they go hire who they hire. Like like they just need to just like
Yeah.
the man has more than enough credentials by playing in the NBA and in college to coach an NBA team. I'm gonna just say it. If Darvin Ham could coach the Lakers, I think JJ Redick is more than
Hey man,
capable of
hey man,
coaching the Lakers. So
Darvin Ham was
good
an
luck,
assistant
and
for a couple years, man. He was a
yeah,
good
sure,
assistant. He
sure. Yeah, he was an assistant to Mike Budenholzer, who we already know what he's capable of. Like, watch, you're gonna see that. Like, and if Darvin Ham was in, sure, let's use this time to just throw shade on Darvin Ham. He don't need no shade. He probably do need some shade. His head gonna sweat. He bald as hell on the top. But Darvin Ham, we'll see when Mike Budenholzer coaches the Phoenix Suns. We'll see if anything changes. If their offense is good, then we clearly know that
Yeah.
he ain't doing nothing. And I can almost guarantee you that nothing will change with the Bucks next. So
not with Glenn in charge.
no adjustments, Doc. But yeah, man, like
I
that's
wanna say I disagree because of Dame, and that's what Imma say. I
because he
disagree
got
because
something
of
to
Dame.
prove.
Not because I feel like he's gonna have a better season. I feel like I feel like he had a lot going on, like with the transition and then us switching coaches halfway through the season, being good, then not being. It's like there's just a lot of shit going on with the Bucks this year. Giannis being hurt, he was hurt like a couple times this year. I think he missed like 30, if not 40 games this season. So like Giannis was hurt a lot. I'm very scared with the coaching situation because the history of Glenn is not playing young players. And we have three young players that prior to him getting there were playing very well in the rotation. AJ Green and Marshawn Beauchamp, they were doing amazing coming off the bench, coming in, scoring 10, 12 points here and there. they was doing their job. And because our offense was running a lot faster, we were playing better defense. We were scoring more points, so we were winning more games. So that's my only issue with the Doc Rivers thing is like I feel like I'm hoping there is a change back to the more faster paced offense, which would cater more to everybody on the team.
Yeah.
Because instead of limited, like we have a lot of guys that have a lot of scoring ability, and we need to get more shots up. Just period, point blank. Bobby Portis is capable of giving us 20. Chris Middleton is capable of getting 35, 30, 40 points. You know Giannis is finna get his 25, 30 a game. We got to get Dame more shots because we got to get him comfortable in the system. It's like we have to get to a faster pace offense. Like I don't care what he run. I don't care who he put on the floor. We just need to get back to a faster pace offense, and we need to trade Jay Crowder because I don't understand what we even got him for. Still don't. To this day, I don't. We gave up. Who we give up for him? We gave for Jay Crowder. We gave up Grayson Allen. We gave Grayson Allen for Jay Crowder. Grayson Allen went over there and shot amazing. Shot almost just as good as Michael Beasley shot for us this year. So I'm not understanding what we got Jay Crowder for because he literally didn't do anything.
I don't even think he played a lot.
No.
Oh, he was on the court a lot.
Oh,
He was on the court a lot. Playing like 20, 25 minutes a game. He was on the court. He just wasn't doing nothing.
You got to hear the key words. He was on the court.
Yeah, he's on the court. That's it. That's all he was doing. He's just on the court. He ain't getting no stops. He missing wide open corner threes. Fast offense. That's the name of the game. Fast offense. Glenn can't mess this up if we just shoot more.
It's kind of crazy too, because Crowder was a starter on like 3 straight finals teams.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
crazy.
He's burnt out. I think this is a great point. Y'all want to wrap?
I thought we were just trying to get content.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah. Okay. Yeah, we did. Yeah.
All right. So all NBA complainers.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's why I figured that was gonna be his own episode of stuff.
Okay. All right, bet. All right. I think we got a lot done today as a group. I think we got a lot off of our chests. I think we all
a little bit.
Yeah, I think we all feel better now. Brad, I hope you feel better.
No,
I don't. I don't feel better.
You know, but
I don't know what's gonna happen.
Hey, look, that's the beautiful thing about we just don't know what's gonna happen until it happens, right? But we appreciate y'all. We'll see y'all next time. We're gonna call this the episode here. Just be on the lookout, man. We might drop some more heat. We'll see. Y'all might just be in tune, man. We out. Appreciate y'all. And this is again the Club WAM Podcast. Like I said, man, make sure y'all like, comment, subscribe. If you already did that, share the video so that everybody else can like, comment, subscribe. So don't be a loser, be a whammy. We out.
Man, get in the comments. Argue with us about basketball stuff.
We out of here.
I like arguing with you guys.
We out of here, man. That's it. Peace out.